So we've seen how to create services and we've seen how to provide them, but we haven't seen how to actually use them yet. We haven't seen how they get instantiated and pulled into a component so that we can use them. And that's where constructors come into play. So in this video, we'll take a look at how constructors work with the dependency injection system. So here we have a component and it's called org chart component. Let's say that we wanted to use our salary service inside this component. How do we get Angular to inject our salary service? We do it through the constructor. Let's see what this looks like. So now we're specifying a constructor and it's being passed a salary service. The argument name is salary service of type capital salary service. How can we keep a reference to this service? Save it in a property. And this is almost always done. It's very rare that you would only want to use an injected service in the constructor. So let's see how we save it in a property. We'll create a private property called salary service of type salary service. And then inside our constructor, salary service will be injected. And we'll assign that to the property salary service. Now this is very repetitive code. And while it might make sense, it can be difficult to type, especially since we're working with injected dependencies all the time. So TypeScript has a special way to simplify this. What is TypeScript shorthand for this code? We can specify an access modifier on the constructor argument. Let's see what that looks like. So now in our constructor, salary service is being injected here, but we have a private access modifier. And this actually creates a private property on the org chart component. So all of that duplicate code we just saw in the previous slide goes away. We just need to specify private or public here before salary service. Now let's take a look at injecting a service into another service. Here we have a class called salary service, and we want to inject data service into it. The problem is that there's no metadata decorator. Like before, we were working with @component, and that let Angular know that we wanted to possibly inject something into the constructor. But this is just a TypeScript class. How do we tell the DI engine to inject our data service? We use the class decorator @injectable. So here we can see the decorator before our class salary service. And this injectable decorator tells Angular to take a look at the constructor and inject anything we might need. So this will give us our data service in the constructor. So if you ever have the problem where dependency injection doesn't seem to be working, make sure your services are marked as @injectable.